Hi, and welcome to Ed Talk. This is the show that discusses educational topics that impact our local schools here in Nevada County. I'm your host, Scott Lay, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. Today's topic is charter schools, of which we have a lot of really good ones in our county, but oftentimes kind of misunderstood by the public on what they are. So with me today, my guest is Peter Segabil. Peter is the long-term executive director at Forest Charter School. Peter, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking time to come down here to the studio so we can talk about our charter schools here in Nevada County, their long, rich history of educating our kids, how they work with our traditional schools, some of the differences, the similarities, the changes, and then kind of where we're seeing the future of charter schools here in Nevada County.
Yeah, Nevada County's been a great place and great friend to charter schools over the years, so I feel lucky to be here.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's good. It's worked out really well, and like I said before, we have some really good charter schools. As we get going, I thought the first thing is kind of a little bit about you, Peter. I like to let our guests know, who the people are that run our schools in Nevada County.
Yeah, I'm actually technically a transplant to Nevada County. My wife grew up here, Kim Culbertson, so okay. I've moved here in 2002, so a long time.
Long time, yeah.
Love the county a lot, and I took over. I started working at Forest Charter School in 2005 and took over as executive director in 2009. So I've been at the school, like you said, for a long time. Before that, I was a high school English teacher, did some years in the Bay Area, and then also worked at Nevada Union for a year before I sort of found a path toward administration that I enjoyed. So,
right.
Yeah.
Great. And now kind of specifically about Forest Charter, the school at UC, because you actually have a couple different sites. You have your main site in Nevada City, but maybe tell us about how many students do you have in total, and then where are they? Yeah,
so we are, just to give a little background at first, we're a non-classroom based school, but that's our legal designation, but we fall under, we call ourselves personalized learning. That's our philosophical approach to education. We've been around since 2002. We have, as you said, our main campus is here in Nevada City, so that's where we have our offices and the business services and all those different things. But we have a campus up in Truckee, we have one out in Forest Hill, and we have one in Auburn. Total, we have about 850 students, but we are a TK through 12 charter school, so we hold students in all the grade levels, and because we're non-classroom based, we can serve students in those contiguous counties that I mentioned.
Right, so, right. And the main campus is the old Gold Run campus in Nevada City, which is a beautiful school site. Yeah,
it's gorgeous. We actually got very lucky, and we have a great relationship with the Nevada City School District. They've been wonderful landlords that let us stay there. They're being really reasonable, help take care of it. We love the campus. We try to be really, really great with it and keep it in good shape.
Yeah, so. and you were able to go there because as Nevada City School District declined in enrollment, actually had two of their campuses open up, the old Nevada City Elementary, the original one, downtown Nevada City, and then the newest one, Gold Run.
Right.
And it just worked better for them to consolidate Deer Creek, Seven Hills near each other, and that opened the door for you guys.
Right.
How long have you been there at that site?
We moved there in 2013, so over 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah. It's been a great relationship with them and a nice opportunity. We do run, as I said, we're independent study, but we do run classes that support some of our students' learning, so that's been a really great facility to be able to use for that.
Right, because the times I've come and visited, there are students there all the time.
Yeah.
In classrooms, with instructors. Right. Yeah, so they do that mix, which is really nice.
And we have different programs for the high school versus our TK through 8 program now as well. So those are running on different days, or we're using different rooms, or both in some combination. And of course, we have our special ed services that are available on that campus as well. So, So they need the building space.
And I even know one of the U.S. ski team's member is an alumni of Forest Charter, the Truckee campus, because of the personalized learning, the ability to have that flex schedule.
Yeah.
And so that's
we actually get quite a few students, especially up in the Truckee area, who take advantage of the flexible schedule, so they can be on those training teams. They travel all over the world skiing. Sometimes I'm a little jealous of them, but I'm happy for them also. Yeah. I think we had 4 or 5 students in the last Olympics, so former students.
That's pretty good.
So that's great.
Pretty nice. So just going to kind of go over the landscape for our viewers. In Nevada County, you have 9 traditional school districts. We have what we call 5 independent school districts, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. We have 2 statewide charters that have a small footprint here in Nevada County, but a larger footprint around the state of California. And then we have what we call 6 dependent charters. Now, the term you and I know, independent, really isn't a legal definition in terms of the California Department of Education. However, when it comes to charters, it does mean something. So independent charter. What is, even though it's not a real term, what is that?
I think the way I look at it is, at least, is that independent charters are self-governed. So we have our own school board that's made up of parents who are in the school, and so that's the big piece that I think differentiates us from, and other charter schools do the same thing as well, but differentiates us maybe from a more dependent one, that self-governance piece, which was one of the original intentions of the creation of charter schools when they put that through in 1992.
Right.
So,
yeah. Charter schools have been around since 1992.
Right.
Yeah, we have some of the first ones in the state here.
We do. We have a lot of schools that have been around for a long time. It's really nice.
Yeah, with that. And then our dependent, I like to look at those as more of directly tied to a school district, like Grass Valley Charter School. They have, that's directly tied to the Grass Valley School District. We have Arete down in South County, which is directly tied to the Pleasant Ridge School District. So those we call our dependent. The two statewide charters, which are Epic and John Muir, are more like you. They have a separate governing council. More independent, but they do have oversight. And I think maybe we can explain to our viewers charter oversight. What is that versus a school district who has direct oversight? What is?
So as a charter school, we have to apply with a sponsoring agency. Usually it's a traditional school district or a county office of education. You can go to a level of a statewide charter school, but really what you're doing in that stage is saying, here's a school that we would like to open, and here's how we will approach education and learning and all those different things. And then that sponsoring agency has the authority to oversee the school and make sure that, they're meeting standards, that they're, the finances are all in good shape, all those different kind of things like that we're providing appropriate services and serving the students with all the things that we're supposed to.
Right.
So it's a little bit of, there's we pay a fee for to the sponsored agency because there's a lot of responsibility that happens before that agency, whether it's the county or the districts.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know every now and then you'll hear in the news of a bad player, a bad charter. But as the oversight body at my office, I can tell you that our charters are they're all fiscally very responsible, academically responsible. It's in great standing and have good relationships.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when those schools give a bad reputation for all the charter schools.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. But it happens. It's very unfair as well.
The nice part for us guys, we have such a close relationship, like with the county. Like we are constantly working with them on credentialing, on business services, on other things like that. So there's a lot of just natural oversight that happens because of that collaboration piece.
Right. Now you said your school 1992. 2002. 2002. How did it start?
So that was our original director, Sandy McDivitt. It was a relationship with, I think it was Dave Taylor, who was the superintendent out at
the Twin Ridges Elementary School District.
He approached Sandy to open this up, and actually I think it was originally opened under Bitney Charter School, which that was the name at the time. Now they're Bitney College Prep. And then they had to break away because the state instituted a new regulation around what's a law called SB 740, which determines how we're allowed to spend our money in terms of like what percents have to be spent in what areas.
Right.
And so they had to break away at that point. And then 2 years later, I think I joined, and that's where that one came from. And it's been a pretty steady growth for us. There's been a lot of interest in the program, the flexibility that we offer, and the personalization that comes with coming to a school like ours.
Right. And I've talked to people out there when they say, well, how do you start a charter? And I say, well, you've got to offer something different.
Right.
You can't just be mad at your local school district and you want to start an identical school.
Right.
It has to be like your program or Nevada City School of the Arts. We used to have a Montessori. There has to be a different methodology.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which was really the intention of the legislature when they created charter schools. It was supposed to be laboratories of innovation, right? So we are trying different things. We're trying different approaches. And what I'd like about, for us at least with like personalized learning, is that's the whole school's focus. This is what we do. It's not just an arm of our school.
Right.
So the entire thing is created around this. It's centered around this. It is everything we do and every all the policies we create, all the procedures we create, the training that we do is all centered around providing this kind of an education, which is, in a nutshell, it's building an education around each student. So that's what the teacher's job is, to create all these pieces that go into place to fulfill a full education option.
Right. Which keeps the focus
Yeah.
Going on that. Looking at that, and this is going into my 34th year now in education here in Nevada County, and I've seen charter schools when they started off to what they are now, and it is very different. And so I thought we kind of talk about the changes, because a lot of people have misconceptions about charter schools.
Right.
Oftentimes they go, well, they're private. No, they're not private. They're publicly funded schools. And then regulations and things they don't think you have to follow, which indeed all charter schools do.
Yeah.
So I thought we kind of go through that. So, governance, we talked a little bit about that. They're not just freewheeling.
No.
You have a charter council, and it can be 5, 7 members.
Yeah. I mean, you can set up the board in different ways. You just have to articulate in your charter document what you want to do. We have a board of 5 to 7 parents and 1 community member that's a part of that. So they function the way a regular school board does. We vote; they get voted in from the school community, and then they oversee us on what we're doing. So I have to answer to them. They do evaluations of me. That's part of that process. So.
And the reason you don't see them on a ballot,
Right.
you don't elect, because charter schools don't have a boundary within the county,
Right.
and so there'd be no way to
Exactly.
vote them in. It would make no sense in a ballot, but they are voted in by the school.
And again, like I was saying, the original intention around that development of charter schools was sort of self-governance, and to strip away some of the regulations that they felt at the time were limiting traditional schools' ability to be more innovative. So I think some of that's changed, and honestly, some of the lack of the freedoms that we once had before have been limited, honestly. So there's differences. So I think the real trick for charter schools now is to keep innovating and creating philosophical approaches and creating educational opportunities that are unique to what their mission is.
Right,
So-
because the classrooms or the setting can look very different than our traditional classroom that most of us went to growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
With that, which brings me to facilities. When I started, I remember facilities, there really wasn't a regulation.
Right.
Where a charter school could basically go out in a field and say, we're starting here in the middle of the field.
Tents, whatever.
Now, very different, exactly, but now that's very different, right? So the guidelines that you're under now for facilities.
Yeah, really we have to follow the same DSA rules and things like that.
Division of State Architects who govern the acronyms we get used to, but who govern the schools to make sure they're safe.
Right. And we have to have facilities to provide some of those services and along the lines that are required for whether the classes we're offering, the special ed services that we're offering, all those things that come into play.
Right. So regular things, and like making sure, like in our area, the buildings are snow load capable.
Right.
And
exactly.
what's been nice is when you've been able to find a site such as the Gold Run campus or the old Nevada City Elementary, which are DSA approved.
Right.
They're said it takes a lot of the burden and trouble off you guys. You just go in and it's turnkey.
Yeah, and I think I misspoke a little bit. There is still some flexibility in which facilities we can use that have there aren't traditional school sites necessarily.
Right. You
and
don't
things
have
like
to
that.
be in a school site,
Exactly.
but sometimes it makes it a whole lot easier.
Definitely.
With that,
So.
The other one here, is instructions, not only with curriculum. Let's talk about that curriculum. How that's governed.
Right. So we're not, as a personalized learning school, one of the things that we really emphasized in our philosophy and in the charter was that we weren't going to necessarily follow state adopted curriculum. We do use state adopted curriculum. That's certainly an option. But what we focus on is that the students are educated in the standards. But you can use a variety of approaches, curriculum, resources, teachers, all these different avenues that will accomplish that same goal. So it just provides more flexibility. And like I said, we try to build an education around each student. So one of the things that you'll see with our school is very commonly is a student might come back and say, I don't like this textbook. It's not working for me. I don't want to use this book, or I don't want to use this approach. And then that whole goal is to meet with the student and talk about, well, what do you want? What didn't you like about this approach? What can we do differently? So that's where that's the model that we've kind of created. And so we need the flexibility to not say we have to use this one book, right? So otherwise it wouldn't fit the innovation that we're trying to accomplish.
So, however, you're accountable for testing, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's another piece. Well, someone could say, well, they could use any book off, that may or may not work, but you're held to testing standards.
Right. We still participate in all the state testings. We're still held to the same requirements. We do benchmark testing along the way to make sure kids, are making progress at the rate that we think they should. And then if they're not, putting in place, interventions and things like that to support them. So
there's
all
the
those pieces are still there. Absolutely.
Right. And if a school doesn't, and if a charter school does not make the standards for multiple years, that can be a reason to revoke a charter, which means That's it. They're gone.
Yeah. So we get a charter. You get a charter for anywhere from, I think, 4 to 7 years is the most. Average is 5 years, right? So if we have to keep coming back and saying, this is how we're doing, and if we're having problems, this is what we're doing to correct those problems. So that's statewide for all charter schools. So it really does make the schools, take a constant look at themselves and say, look, we're doing a good job. We're serving the community. This is how we're serving the community.
Right.
So
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So that's a big myth. No accountability.
Yeah.
It's right there, built in.
Definitely.
The instructors, a lot of things that they don't need credentials.
Yeah.
So another myth. I mean, there is some flexibility, but overall, big myth.
Yeah, actually, less and less flexibility.
Yeah.
Interesting, where the myth probably originated from was that originally they didn't require credentials.
Right.
We always made it a priority to have credentialed teachers because they just have training, they have experience, it's
Classroom
beneficial
control
for everyone. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But it was now we have to meet all the same credentialing requirements that the traditional schools have to. So that's another one of those myth areas for sure.
Right.
So
Yeah. So that one, which is always a good one. Last one, another myth out there: vaccinations.
Yeah.
Charter schools, they don't need vaccinations.
Yeah. No, we absolutely do.
Yes.
So.
And so you follow the same standards.
Yeah, and again, the only place where we have some flexibility is the legislature. The law says that if you're on independent study or homeschool,
Right.
you don't have to be
Right.
vaccinated.
Where you're not gathering.
Right. So it allows some flexibility for families to come to who don't believe in vaccinations, don't want to get vaccinated. There's an option for us, and Twin Ridges Homestead is another one that allows them to come and still have access to a credentialed teacher, to support services, to curriculum, to all these things. Because otherwise, they do have the option to just go home and educate themselves. And we think it's better if they're with us, with our oversight, with our support.
I do too, and with Twin Ridges Home Study, because you mentioned the other school that does this type of learning, that they can help those parents along the way, because it's a whole lot tougher to teach and be a parent than it is just to be a parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people learned that during the COVID pandemic. So those are kind of the basic kind of myths and similarities, differences. Really, I've seen over the years that the charter schools have been put much more in line. Some places, some reason, that's been great.
Yeah.
And others, it's like, that took a little away from the charter, but again, usually because of a bad actor.
Yeah.
And they do one, as in California, we love one-size-fits-all rules.
Right, totally. A couple other myths, if I can mention them. One that we ask, and we still get questions about this when people call us, is we don't cost anything, we're free. We're a public school.
Right.
So
that whole myth of private, there's no tuition.
No, there's no and there's really no private charter schools in California. That just doesn't exist.
Right.
And the other one is that we select students, like cherry picking students. We have a lottery system that's on, electronic online system, and that we don't take special ed students. We have a large special ed population, and love serving those kids.
You have a very robust special education unit that serves all your students.
Yeah, and all the charter schools that I work with closely have a large, robust special ed program.
I still think that is a myth out there, but it's definitely a very unfounded myth with that. So moving along, kind of talking about the changes and difference, we've seen in the future of charter schools, but one thing in particular that can alter this, and it seems every 5 years, 6 years, whatever, there's a bill in Sacramento. We had AB 1505, 1507 years ago that kind of altered the charter world. The new one is AB 84, which is a bill by Assemblyman Marisucci, usually a good friend of education, has been over the years. But there's a few pieces in this charter bill trying to solve everything that could negatively impact your school and Twin Ridges Home Study specifically.
Right. So AB 84 it's couched in accountability, which we are completely in favor of. But I think it's overreached in a few areas. That's unfortunate. In some cases, it's revolving around funding for non-classroom schools, which is we don't want to see happen. I've seen a lot of good work with the charter advocacy groups, meeting with Marisucci and some of the other people in the legislature, and some of the other legislatures who are pushing back a little bit, saying we don't want them to get crippled. We want to keep oversight on them. And I'd just like to put out that there's another bill out there, SB 414, that focuses on accountability. We helped author it as the charter advocacy groups did, to try to solve some of the problems that they were concerned about with some of these bad actors you were talking about. And we are totally in favor of that. We absolutely we don't want any charter schools doing anything illegal or anything stupid. So
what I can say as the county superintendent, our charter schools do not try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. They do not try to do illegal things. You guys toe the line, and you want to be right there. Yeah. So kind of we wrap up here, Peter. What do you see the future of our of our charter schools in Nevada County, and for our audience, it's about 20% of our student body goes to a charter school here in Nevada County.
Yeah, I think charter schools are fantastic. Obviously, I've been working in one for a long time, but the reason I think they're great is that it provides opportunities and options for students. I think the concept that one school fits all students and solves all problems for every student out there is not working. No. We often talk to students about, like, look, this is what we can offer, but if you want something different, there are other great options in this county. I think we have an abundance of riches in terms of great schools in this county. And one of the things that I love about Nevada County the most, I love working here so much, and it's been such a great life for me, is this place really just cares about kids, period. And so when I talk to you, when I talk to superintendents or principals at other schools, I call them about students, they call me about students. We work collaboratively to figure out what's going to be best to support this student. It's not as much about competition. It's not about like you're doing something wrong. It's just like, what can we do together to make this a better space for these students? And I think that's where I see the future of charter schools going. I'd like to see that more statewide. I think, honestly, this county is a model for it. In terms of how they approach it. And it really comes down to leadership, your leadership, as well as like the superintendents who have welcomed us in. So appreciate that a lot.
All work together. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming in, Peter. Appreciate the time you took to do it. I'd like to thank our audience for joining in. I hope you learned a little bit about charters here in Nevada County and how they operate, how some of the myths we have, the similarities, some of the important differences. And we appreciate you tuning in. This has been Ed Talk, and I've been your host, Scott Lay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.